Quantitative easing or quantitative enabling. Quantitative easing is the printing of money by governments to increase liquidity in the markets. Unfortunately, this new money gets trapped at the bank lending level and ultimately is not as effective as it could be, as it usually ends up in government debt. Printing new money dilutes current market asset values and accrues as national debt. Quantitative enabling could be printing new money and applying it to AgroEnergy, AgroForestry, and AgroFood production using biological soils. Investment into rebuilding the biological soils builds a forever sustainable production platform for all energy, forestry, and food crops. The QE fund should be applied to build sustainable resources for the country. These trees, crops, and soils grow value literally. This fills the dilutive void from the printing of new money. It also makes the farms increasingly creditworthy and builds natural resource supplies upon which a lot of trade and industry can be based. This is compounding. The production of biological fertilizers locally from farm-grown organic material gives cost and supply controls to these farm input costs. Organic waste such as food waste, manures, and civic waste can also be processed to make biological fertilizers. Biological soil production provides a solution for many of these problems with waste materials that currently are a cost and a liability. Farming with biological fertilizer removes the need for chemical fertilizers and rebuilds soil health by returning atmospheric carbon to the ground through organic material used to make the fertilizer. This carbon farming is what nature intended. Investment into biological soils removes fossil fuels from agriculture and replaces fossil fuels in the energy sector. Decoupling an economy from fossil fuels by replacing them with locally produced alternatives returns supply and cost controls to that country, giving greater control of inflationary pressures and cost of living expenses. Much of the value generated from domestic production of soils, food, and forestry benefits the economy directly. The benefit is relative to the scale of this development in the agricultural and energy sectors. International trade potential and capability will be built simultaneously by the biological soils production platform that creates organic and carbon standards compatible with global markets and food standards. Physically applying biological, high-carbon soil fertilizers, essentially made from atmospheric carbon, back into the fields reverses climate change and produces compliance market carbon credits. Reverting to conventional farming reverses farm-originated environmental damage to groundwater, soil health, and the surrounding environment. Cumulatively, these QE soil investments amount to considerable savings in costs and expenses for farming, consumers, climate change, and the environment. From this sustainable cultivation platform, forestry and agroenergy deliver grown value from crops and trees that fill in the value void behind the newly printed money as they grow. In a few years, all the loss of value from QE cash dilution is replaced with a new grown fixed asset value in the form of trees, and domestic fuels as current assets, cash, which all accumulate to economic growth and opportunity. Analysis indicates that such applications of QE capital far exceed the dilutive effect of the initially printed money. It builds economic growth while reducing costs and removes restrictions on the supply of essential materials for food and energy security. Quantitative enabling has the capacity and potential to reduce the national debt significantly. This is quantitative enabling. Working papers are available for interested parties, DM, or email to discuss. Thanks for watching another Efficiency Professor Media presentation.